Days. Don McVea, National Federation of Independent Small Business, Mississippi and Louisiana Director. Don, good to see you again. How's it going?
Good afternoon. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Thanks for calling in. Appreciate you joining us. We thought it made sense to get an update from you as we are right in the throes of the busy retail season for sure. Most retailers rely on the busy Christmas shopping season, honestly, to hit their numbers, to make ends meet. There are a lot of businesses. The vast majority of their sales occur during the Christmas shopping season. What are you hearing from your members?
Well, it's been a tough time. I wish I had better news to report, but some folks are experiencing, in certain areas of the state, obviously, are busier and more populated than others. But it wasn't as like Small Business Saturday was just not as strong as it had been in the past. Some of the indicators are early indicators. Of course, the holiday season is not over. We've got a lot of time left. What?
Yeah.
6 days or something. So,
yeah, that's right.
We've got to get through the end of the year, but things haven't been as great. Really impacted by fewer people in the stores, we've heard. So that's been interesting. I don't know if people are just sticking to online shopping this year or what, but we just like to remind people that a lot of small business owners still have online shopping available. They did that during COVID and have kept that up. And so don't always just turn to your big box online. Check out your local retailer, because if you don't want to get out and about, there's still opportunity to shop online locally and support your local folks.
Well, I'll admit I'm one of those late shoppers, so there'll be some business coming the way of the stores that I'll patronize here locally between now and Christmas. So I'm always
Good.
behind on that, but I always come through. Just got to make sure that
there's always one of you, right, running around.
That's
loose.
right. That's right. So to what do you attribute? Is this just general macroeconomic conditions? People just have less disposable income? And thus they're maybe tapering back a little bit? Is that what you think is going on?
I think it's still inflation. We have a lot of business owners telling us it's still impacting their day to day of keeping their doors open. So it's definitely affecting the everyday Mississippian and their ability to go out and shop. And so we see our business owners are reporting they're still experiencing higher rents. For wherever they might be renting their location, higher cost of deliveries, and of course, prices in gas have gone up and down. I think we're on the downtrend right now, but they were higher over the summer, as they usually are, but still, on top of inflation. So this whole year they haven't really been able to get out of the net negative feeling of things. And so really we've just seen a lot of folks also telling us that the raising labor costs, the rising labor costs, that they are increasing their wages. We've got 30% of small business owners reporting that they plan to raise wages in the next 3 months, which is really great to hear, but that does affect the cost of goods and services, right? At some point, you have to balance that bottom line, like we always talk about.
Yeah, is there still, from what you're hearing from your members, problem getting labor? Still constrained field of labor?
Yeah, definitely still a strain on that. Openings, 40% of small business owners in the November survey that we just recently took, reported that they had openings that they couldn't fill. So that meant that either they didn't have participation or what have you. And Mississippi is a great, unfortunately, a great indicator of the problem with labor participation. The South, Louisiana and Mississippi, Alabama also has a pretty high labor along our little section of the South, pretty high, ranks high in the labor participation, meaning that we don't have good labor participation.
Right. Right.
So it's really frustrating. So we've really got to figure out as a state, how do we address that? Because ranking on the bad list, is not a good thing when it comes
Right.
to that, because it does affect the ability for people to find qualified workers.
Well, the jobs are there, as you know, they're available. You're hearing it from your
Yeah.
members. They're seeking
Right.
workers for a cross section of jobs. I mean, I don't think there's any industry that honestly that isn't. So it kind of sounds like, Dawn, that we just don't have a good match with the skills of our workers that are on the sidelines to fill these jobs. And I know that's why this state, at least, is put in a lot of effort and created programs and resources to improve that situation, to equip our workers with these skills that satisfy the needs of employers, to try to get those folks into the workforce.
We really have done a lot in Mississippi, and it's great. It's great to see, and I think it's coming into this new term, there's a lot of things that we would like to see maybe get moved on, and I think there's a lot of opportunity with some new legislators, and the governor's done an amazing job the past 4 years, and some new leadership, and so we're really excited about it, because there are some things that could really help small business owners. And I think continuing down the road we've started in Mississippi as it relates to workforce and getting that addressed. And then, of course, there's just bigger systemic things that over time have to be fixed as it relates to labor participation. So I don't think that's a one and done, one piece of legislation can fix that. But the fact that we're talking about it more, I think, is really important.
Agree. And I know the governor's aware, and he's focused on it as well. I've personally talked to him about it. And members of our legislature, our statewide leaders, they're keenly aware of this issue. And our lieutenant governor in particular focuses on it quite a bit. So speaking of which, we got a new session that's getting underway in less than 2 weeks, 2 weeks from yesterday. Hard to believe here in Mississippi. What are your legislative priorities? What are you guys going to be working on? Yeah,
I mean, we were really excited to see some recent comments by Speaker Designee White that, he'll be interested to see continued work on the elimination of the income tax. I think that, that has obviously been a priority of ours since it became an opportunity, and the state is experiencing significant surpluses. And so we need to be sure we're both looking at, how do we ensure that the state doesn't get in a bad position on the budget, but also, find ways to further reduce the income tax and move to elimination. States are looking at it. It's become such a competitive situation, and so many states that are neighboring. Of course, Texas doesn't have one, but Arkansas just went into a special session a few months ago to put a big chunk of their surplus away so that they could work on buying down their income tax rate. So, and Louisiana, my home state, God bless us, we get a new governor come January, and I think everybody's really excited about what he is going to maybe do, hopefully do for the state to really, really kick us into gear, because we are lagging way behind our neighbors. So, so the income tax piece for Mississippi is exciting to continue to see that conversation being had. Some other things that just don't really come up to people's minds every day, but was something we're working on in D.C. and we really have been working on at the state level here and there. But it's really removing the sales tax component of a bill. Take your local restaurant. Your bill, your final bill at the end of the day, is what a business owner pays a credit card processing fee on. What we're wanting to really do is really look at what opportunities we have to remove the swipe. It's called a swipe fee. But for any business that takes that credit card, they're paying that processing fee. And look, you gotta do that. You gotta pay the fee to do that. But these fees are getting so out of control. We have one small restaurant tour who told us, the bottom line that he has to pay every year is like $70,000, and that is significant to a one location small restaurant. And so talking about swipe fees more is something we hope to do in the coming session, and really educate legislators on what's going on and how this is impacting small businesses, because it really hits them harder than your big guys. And drug pricing transparency and the PBMs. We you and I think talked about it early on in the year.
Okay.
That continues to be a challenge. So we'll be interested to see if there's good
I think
conversation around that.
I know that issue is going to get some attention in the upcoming session.
Yes.
But, Dawn, we appreciate you joining us and providing an update. Hope you have the merriest of Christmases and a Happy New Year. And I'm sure we'll be talking to you again. Always good talking to you. Thanks.
Absolutely. Thank y'all.
We're coming right back, folks, in the Element Wealth studio.